Alright, what's going on guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today's video is all about the 90. I'm going over every single variation that you need to know and all of the pros and cons associated with them. So there's about 6 or 7 in my mind that I'm going to be going over. And basically I want to link up all this, like what's the best for your settings, what's the best for your platform, the way that you're playing, the situation that you're in, all that kind of stuff, as well as go over each one individually and show you how they're actually performed. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I don't want to waste any time because this is going to take a while, with there being 6 or 7 90s that we're going over and linking them with your settings and binds and all that good stuff. So with that said, the first 90 I want to go over is the no jump 90. So how is this one performed? Basically, there's 2 things you want to watch out for. What you don't want to do is go over this path right here. If you go through this path, which is basically just making a diagonal right here, like a 90 degree, not a diagonal, a 90 degree turn. If you make a straight up 90 degree turn, this is going to be what you do not want to do for the no jump 90, at least in the traditional manner. If you do if you do it this way, you'll see your character's going to stop. You see that pause? That pause is not good at all. If you are pausing on that wall, it's because you're trying to make too sharp of a turn. Basically, that's a good way to describe it. It's too sharp of a turn. If you rather go across the 90 like this and basically cut off a little triangle, like imagine a triangle right here, right? And what you're going to want to do is just cut that off and continue with your 90. It's just like doing a traditional 90. This is the exact same format that I would do that in. It'll avoid your character stopping, and that's what you want to avoid. If you touch that wall, it will slow you down and it's not good. Alright, so the next 90 is the traditional 90. So just like that other 90, we're going to be doing that same exact diagonal, and what this allows us to do is not hit that wall. If you hit this wall, then you will slow down and your 90 will not be as efficient as it can be, nor will it be as fast. So again, cut this corner off. That's the only thing you want to do in this 90 is cut that corner off, and then you do a quick circle motion just like this, and whenever you place you can do it with or without the flat. But in my experience, the flat pushes you up and so does the ramp. You see how both of them push me up? This allows me to keep my high ground and land as high as I possibly can on the ramp. If I don't have that flat, then I'll be lower on the ramp, and the ramp won't actually function pushing me up just like it did right here. It'll be less effective basically. So basically it'll look something like this. If you get to the end of 3 of them and you can't do any more, then you're doing it right. Things to watch out for: don't hit that wall, cut off a corner of your ramp whenever you're jumping and putting all of your pieces down. Alright, so we did no jump 90s, we did traditional 90s. Now I want to go over the zigzag 90s. So the zigzag 90 is essentially this motion right here. You go here, 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 just like that. Now you could do it in different variations, but that's the way that I've always done it. Now I used to really like this one, and I still do, just because it just works really well. Like you're put in that situation where you're always like on top of your ramp, and that's really, really nice. But the issue is consistency, and I'll get into that later. But the way you perform it, like I just said, you do like a zigzag and you jump just like every other 90. You cut off this triangle right here on your ramp, and in doing so, it's going to allow you to do that. So make sure the other thing to watch out for is when you go up for this wall and you come over, this is when you need to look down and place that flat. If you do not look down, then what's going to happen is you're going to do this, 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 and that. Bam, and you're stuck underneath this thing. Your teammate, or your opponent gets high ground and you're done. You're clapped. Your cheeks are gone. So you do not want to get in that situation. So that's how you do this one. And that's literally the only thing I can think of for this one that you need to watch out for. It just, all these take practice, but that's the simple mechanical things to look out for. Alright, so the next 90 is the looking down 90. By the way, I don't know the names, like the proper names for this, but I'm just gonna call them what they look like so that it's easy to, you know, remember. So the looking down 90 is essentially you are looking down the whole time, and then you do something like this. It's really the most consistent if you can actually get it down. Like, I really, really like this one. You are not going to mess it up too often if you know what you're doing and you get the rhythm. But as soon as you lose the rhythm, you can mess it up pretty easy. The only thing you got to look out for is you place this wall, and then, like I said, just like every other 90, you cut off this triangle, and at the same time, you jump, place the flat, place the ramp, and you land on your ramp. The highest part that you can, on all these 90s, the highest point that you can land on this ramp is the best. Like, if you're landing down here, that's not good at all. You are not doing the 90 correctly. You need to be landing up here at least. You can, unlike the other ones, you can do the 90 degree turn, like actually going up here. So I personally like to cut it off. You can't get away with doing like that. I mean, even I just naturally cut off that triangle, but you can technically get away with just doing the 90-degree turn. Now the next variation of that 90, of the looking down 90, is to do that exact same motion without jumping. This one's a little bit more difficult because if you go for this diagonal is in cutting off the triangle, you might get yourself in this situation like this, or you might be stuck in your ramp like that, and that's never good. I think the best way to do this one is to, that's another thing to watch out for. That's why I don't like doing the diagonal on this one. The best way to perform this one is to do the 90-degree turn, which is right here, just like this. That 90-degree turn is going to be your best friend for this one. The difficult part with this is not running off of your ramp, because if you run off your ramp, you're kind of screwed, just like that. And that will happen a lot if you do not time that 90-degree turn perfectly. And that's why I'm not the biggest fan of this one. But yeah, it is doable, it is viable. Alright guys, so the other variation of the looking down 90 is one in which you add a wall right here. You see a lot of pros choose this one because it adds a little bit more cover at the expense of one more wall. And essentially the way that you do this one, you can do either way. You can do a 90-degree turn like this, or you can do the cut off the triangle method just like so. And as you can see, they both work out just fine, and they're just a side variation again of the looking down 90. Not too difficult to get down, but the timing is a little different from all the other 90s, so keep that in mind. Alright, so the last one, guys, is the Mongraal style 90, and I call it Mongraal because that's where I saw it from first. So what you want to do is put this wall here, this wall here, this wall here, and then like this, and you jump up. So just like all the other 90s, or most of them, you cut off the corner, cut off the little triangle, and you put a wall here, you put a wall here. The only difference is that you're starting to place these walls sooner than every other 90. Like usually I'd be like right here and then I'd start placing walls. This one I'm more like right here and I'm already placing the walls. I'm going up, and the reason you do that is to allow yourself enough time to place this wall, and then you jump through it just like that, like every other 90. And this one is just really difficult on console, really more complicated than it needs to be, and you'll notice that you will miss this wall a lot if you're not doing it perfectly, and that's why I'm again not the biggest fan of this one, at least for console, but I'll get into that in a second. But anyway, that's the only thing to watch out for, is make sure you're starting these walls sooner than the other 90s, and you're still cutting off that corner and jumping, trying to land as high as you possibly can on the ramp. Alright guys, so this is the second part of the video. I went over 6 different 90 variations, and in this part I want to go over how these things hook up with your binds, your settings, the platform that you're playing on, the situations you're in, you're getting into, pros and cons, all that good stuff. And so you'll know exactly what 90 you should be doing, or that will probably be most effective for your play style. So with that said, here we go. So real quick, as a disclaimer, I'm not going over any mobile stuff because I am not familiar with the mobile settings or anything, any play style with mobile at all. So I'm sorry, mobile players, rip you guys. But anyway, so console and PC. We have 2 different play bases and players that I want to split up. So two different categories here. The first category is you cannot jump and look around at the same time, or you can jump and look around at the same time. So if you can't jump and look around, that means you're on console, and that means that your binds are not properly set up. So that's probably the situation that you're in, is that you're on console and you haven't changed your binds, you don't have paddles, and you don't play claw. The other category is you can jump. So these are console players that have fixed their binds to where they can jump and look around at the same time, and also PC players. PC players have, so many keys, they're always going to be able to jump and look around at the same time. So first, let's go over the cannot jump and look around at the same time players. You guys have 3 viable options in my opinion. That is the no jump 90, the traditional 90, and the looking down 90. Let's first go over how many mats you're using with each of these. The no jump 90 and the traditional 90 use the same amount of mats. That is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All of these are 7 mats. No matter which variation you do it, you will be using 7. You could use 6 if you missed that wall down there, this one. And so keep that in mind. So we'll say 6 to 7 with that one. Now the looking down 90 is going to actually only use 4. You'll put a wall here, put a wall here, and here. Now you could also do it, with only 2, and that's insane as well. So this is what we need to take away, right? If you need to save mats, you're in a situation where you have very little mats, then the no jump 90 is going to be coming in clutch, and you'll probably want to use that for your next upcoming fight. Now with that said, realize that you don't have any cover from up here, right? Which is going to be something that you do get from the traditional 90, so at the expense of more mats. So make sure you're keeping this stuff in mind when you're deciding which ones to do. One other thing I want to mention is that I made a 90 tutorial in the past. It was about in March, and in that tutorial I said you cannot jump and look around at the same time, or if you cannot jump and look around at the same time, then you will not be able to do a 90. I was wrong about that. Even if you cannot jump and look around at the same time, you can still do a traditional 90 with jumping. It's achievable, and players can do it consistently. So if you're up for the challenge, then do that. So now we have the fun group, in my opinion. You have the console players that have binds corrected to allow them to jump and look around at the same time, as well as they probably have paddles, they probably have the claw grip. You have that group, as well as you have the PC group. So PC, let's just get this one out of the way. Y'all could do whatever the heck you want to do, because you can look around, you can jump, you can do everything with perfect accuracy if you spend the time to do so, and you will have the most consistent anything that you try, because you have your whole arm to be able to allow you to do that. Like I said, PC, you can do whatever you want. Console binds, these are your options. Traditional 90s, zigzag 90s, looking down 90s, and Mongraal 90s. I think that all of these are viable for console. However, the most viable is probably going to be the zigzag or traditional or looking down. The Mongraal is, like I said, you can do it on console, but it's very hard to get consistent and not very viable in a pressure situation. So in my opinion, I would avoid that one, but you can do it. Now, just like the other category that we just went over, the looking down is always going to give you the high ground at the expense of less mats, but also you lose cover. And then the traditional zigzag and Mongraal 90s, they all use the same amount of materials at 6 to 7, however you do it, and that is something to keep in mind. It's going to use more mats, give you more cover, and allow you to get high ground that way. So with that said, guys, that is it. I am literally out of breath because I was speeding through that, trying to not break 10 minutes by too much. But there was a lot of material to go over, so I hope that wasn't informative and helpful to you guys. Also, my Twitter is @Trypal_YT. I'd greatly appreciate a follow. It really helps me out, and also leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. Do not forget, please, it also helps out the channel. And once again, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.